All right, so welcome back to another episode of Confessions of a Black Therapist. I have two special guests with me on today. I just want to thank everyone for their patience as we try to work through technical difficulties from last week. So today's episode is just talking about it ends with me and how to build resilience and break generational curses. So this topic came to me basically based off life experiences and being asked like, hey, like how do you persevere? Um, based on like your upbringings, based on your past, how do you continue to push forward? And actually before we got on here, my counterparts told me I should be tired at this point, right? Because I have a lot going on with my kids and home, but stuff got to get done, y'all. Stuff got to get done. So I am going to let them introduce themselves, give their names, their brief bio, and any information that they choose to share with you at this time. And then we are going to hop into the question. So we're going to keep the same rotation as last time, ladies. So go ahead and give us what you got.
Am I
Come on,
starting?
Kendra. Come on,
Okay.
Kendra.
I'm gonna start. My name is Kendra Watkins. Brief bio. I am a Baltimore City native. I grew up in foster care all my life. I've had to deal with a lot of trauma and adjusting to institutional instabilities. I see some questions here asking what have we learned and what we have not learned from our families. I can say that developmentally, there were gaps within my growing up. I was emotionally inconsistent. You couldn't ask me to care. Okay. I did not know how to be compassionate. Didn't know how to be open, very close minded. And I didn't know what the foundation of family was. Now, when I got into foster care and taking the little pieces that my grandmothers did install in me, I began to see the characteristics of what family could have been or what it should be. You begin to understand what blended families were, extended families. And one thing it asks, what did we take from my biological family? I took the saying that my grandfather gave me: the more education you have, the more money you make, and that is something no one can take from you, which is your knowledge. So that stuck with me. Out of everything that I was losing within that time, you could not tell me I did not know my stuff. So I grew up with behavioral problems. I like to fight a lot when I was a child, but God is not through with me. Okay, my grandma had me in church all the time. So that's one thing that I took with me along my journey of foster care. As we get into the questions, you'll learn a little bit more about me.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Miss Shannon.
Hello, I'm Shannon Vincent, Baltimore native as well. I am now currently pursuing my MSW. I have 15 years in human services and social services, starting to specialize a lot more with like mental health and trauma.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so thank you, ladies, for that intro. And again, thank you for agreeing to come back on the platform and share your knowledge and wisdom with us. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into the questions. So the first one just states, when did you know you wanted better, right? What, kind of what helped you get there? When did you realize you needed to change? Because I think a lot of times people don't have these aha moments, as they call them, right? And some people do. And most of it is personality based, some of it is experience based. You never really know when you're going to have that aha moment. So let me know, when was that for you, Kendra?
My aha moment was my transition to my group home at the age of 11. Um, within foster care, I dealt with a lot of trauma even before foster care, as far as being like sexually molested while in care and not in care. My aha moment came from the individuals around me. When I got to my group home, there were a lot of African American women who were educated, who were in college. They were young. However, they had morals and values that they bestowed upon us. They were steadfast. They didn't play no games. So they provided me, I can say, speak for myself, they provided me with an example of you don't have to be like your environment. No matter what people say, no matter how many times others doubt you, you are still able to go where you want to go because you choose to. So because I had a behavior problem as far as popping people, they taught me ways to cope. They taught me ways to reflect and how to be goal oriented and understanding where that pain and that trauma was. I can say, yeah, that. And that it was okay to open up. There were trials and errors, don't get me wrong, everyone you cannot share your story with. But the people that stuck, they became my village. So anytime I felt like I had trouble, I would turn to them. Anytime I felt like I needed to pick their brain or how do I deal with the situation, they was always there. They began to know me and learn me, and I feel like they were my support. I feel that's what God needed me to see at that moment, because then I did get back into my spirituality by reading my Bible more. I was dancing in liturgical church at the group home. So I was just happy to have a foundation and to understand my journey as a foster youth. Always being isolated, angry with pain, and just basically trying to figure it all out. Um, it's not easy. It was a very hard journey. I'm still dealing with developmental gaps, and I'm 31 years old. So it's like, you're going back into those traumatic passes, well, into my traumatic past. However, now that I have coping skills and mechanisms, I'm able to understand them more. I didn't add that I'm at Morgan State University getting my master's in social work. So now I know the backdrop of why things happen, understanding the hierarchy of needs and looking at the different developmental theories and understanding myself more so that I can be effective when going out to help others. So, yeah, that's me.
All right. Miss Shannon.
I would say that I realized that I wanted to do better when I um saw my friends becoming teen parents when we were raised by teen parents. And I just knew that I always did not want that life for me, meaning I knew that I was not supposed to be a teen mom. It's not to say that teen moms have not overcome some adversities and have gone on to thrive and things of that nature, but that's not what you want for your children. So you don't want that
Mhm.
for your children. And if we're being honest, we don't. No one really just woke up one day and say, "Yes, I'm gonna be a teen mom,"
Right.
and that's what I'm going for. So being raised by a teen mom in Baltimore City, I just felt like that was something that just was not for me. This is a generational curse that I am gonna have to break. My mother and her siblings, as I start looking at like the ages of my mother's siblings, I'm like, a lot of them actually had kids really, really young, way
Mhm.
younger than I even thought. Because when you see them matriculating in age, and you like, wait a minute. I mean, you had my cousin at 17. Like you
Math
start
ain't
thinking
mathing.
about the math is like, this is interesting. So that was the big thing for me. Um, wait a minute, what helped me get there?
Mhm.
What helped me get there was actually going to school. Having educators from as early as first grade. I remember my first grade teacher recognizing that how much I love to read, even buying me books during book fair week because we didn't always have it. Very That was Miss Briggs, and then I had a wonderful fifth grade teacher, Miss Anderson, who just basically just threw everything in the kitchen sink at me education wise. Like she made sure that I did not realize or understood that there was no glass ceiling and it was just me. Then I ran into this wonderful Caucasian teacher
Mhm.
named Miss Martha Dads at Baltimore City College, and she was like amazing to me. And she um, she understood that my anger and things that were going on with me were more environmental. It
Mm.
did not speak to who I would be going forward. But she kind of gave me that tough, like, let me reel it back in. Like after class, I need to see you. Like what's going on? And that was different from for me having that. So she also made me look at things like, come on, really get serious about college. Like you worked hard to get into this school. Don't just give it up. Like don't just drop the ball on yourself. Like bet on you. And things that kind of helped me change those negative feelings and behaviors was having a group of friends who were just like me, like going to city. I went from being raised in a neighborhood where when you're one of the smartest kids in class, you get joked at for being smart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To going to a school when you walk in here, you ain't here with all these other smart kids. You're like, well, damn, maybe I ain't as smart as I thought I was. Or I know I'm smart, but dang, I gotta step my game up because everybody in here is smart. So, so going to city kind of did that, and then having those friends that kind of influence you, like even when your life around is like falling apart, you
Mm-hmm.
get into school. I went back to being a kid again. I knew when I was in school that I'm only 14, I'm only 15, I'm only 16. I'm not out here like, oh God, I don't want to go home. I hate being there. I don't want to do this, I hate that. I didn't do any of those things. So I think going to Baltimore City College helped save me. Having great professional teachers that actually cared
Mm-hmm.
saved me. And then meeting like church family. My grandmother put me in church. Having church family just like kind of like reel you back in that fictive kin family that just take you under their wing and say, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think a few things that kind of stuck out that I want to circle on is just labeling your feelings, right? Both of you talked about the ability to label your feelings and the importance of that, right? As well as that education piece. So the more you know, the more you grow, right? So you guys honed in on those things that helped you um make it to the next level. But then two, the importance of having a mentor, right? And so when my, mom and dad were going through their addiction piece, I got left at school a lot. Um, unfortunately. But teachers took me home, right? Teachers took me home. They showed me a better way. They said, hey, this, that, there, and the third. And to my mother was actually able to get herself together. And I'll never forget my high school um, JRTC instructor. They were like detrimental in building this discipline, right? That's needed, building the mindset that's needed, as well as my soccer coach and my English teacher. Shout out to Miss Love and shout out to Miss Bargaris. But the key to this that I hear us all saying is having that praying grandmother, right? The praying grandmother is something that I think has kind of fell by the wayside within the Black community. But if you're fortunate enough to have that in your life, I think that also helps with building the resilience within you. Okay. So all right, now we're going to move on to question 2, and that is, how did you build yourself up through difficult times? And we'll start with you, Miss Kendra.
My Bible, my spirituality, my village, my grandma, that was my backbone. And I'm having to learn self-care. The idea of reflection for myself is difficult, but it works. It works. That's
Amen.
how I build myself up.
Okay. Miss Shannon.
Um, mine is a little different, and I had to unlearn some things.
Mm,
So I would honestly say is I had a lot of poor self-talk to myself. It was the things I would say to myself. I literally would talk myself out of doing bad stuff by talking to myself badly.
mm,
As crazy as it sounds, it worked and it's bad. I would not encourage anybody to do anything about like that. But it's almost like that's what I needed from me at that time to get through those difficult times. So
Mhm.
it would be something as simple as like, so you just gonna not go to school, you gonna sit here and be stupid with the rest of your friends. Like you dumb for cutting school, you was dumb for doing this. Like so you just gonna be like everybody else. Oh, you was raised to be like everybody, they're gonna jump off the bridge, you gonna do it too because you're stupid. Girl, what is wrong with you? Like the conversations I would have with myself, like, if you don't get your dumb ass to get over there. They ain't work. They gonna be here when you get back. Your friends,
Mhm.
they gonna be here. If they cut in school, let them cut. You the one going to Baltimore City College. They going wherever they going, and they probably don't go wherever they going. And look at you. Get over
Mm.
there. Like, and that was with anything like even with me being younger and having sex. Oh no, you stupid. Oh, you think you gonna let somebody have sex with you without a condom? You got to be crazy. You dumb? Are you stupid or you like it was crazy, but it was like one of those things like, so you just gonna sit up here and make everybody dreams come true and be a teen mother. This ain't what we
Mhm.
doing. This is not
Mhm.
like, girl, get it together. When you look at yourself in the mirror and the person back in the mirror looking at you like you so stupid, if you don't get it together, you have to change it. I felt like Issa Rae on Insecure and stuff. I'm rapping to myself like, get yourself like it was crazy, but between that and me realizing my grandma was like, God see everything you do. I sit up here like, God, I'm embarrassing you. Like, I'm embarrassing me. And you feel so embarrassed, you're like, God see all of this, and I'm just trifling out here. Let me
Mhm.
get it together because before he show me that one of these U-turns ain't gonna work out in my favor. So that's the truth. That's the
But
truth. But
okay.
um it kinda helped learning that I needed to pray. I needed to pray and I needed to talk myself off the ledge because if I jumped, I don't even know what that listen. You don't survive all the jumps. And
Mm-mm.
that's true.
Mm-mm. And that, I mean, that's real. It's funny that you say that because, excuse me, that's how it basically started for me, right? I was out here and like Monique said, I had what was it called? Social pussy or whatever it was. Um so in my mind, like, I'm doing me. Like, this is my body. Yes, I am choosing to do it. But then at the
Yep,
end of the day, the men that start talking about it was like, no, sis, technically, like,
technically.
we own what you did, right? We get the bragging rights to what you did. And so, like you said, talking to yourself,
Yep,
having that self-assessment is something that is essential, that self-care, knowing what is needed for you or just discovering what is needed for you at that time. And then continuing that trial and error, figuring out what do I want? What's important to me? How can I grow? How can I get to that next level, right? Um, which then brings us to question 3. So what did it mean to you to stop the generational curses, right? What did you do differently from your family members?
Um, I got an education. I was open. I was willing to be more open into learning from a different lens. If that meant from different cultures, different people, different individuals, I was like a sponge. I wanted to know everything. And just keeping that voice in my head telling me you're not going to be another statistic. My family dealt with a lot of substance abuse. My mom was a product of foster care, and I didn't learn this until my late 20s, and did
Mm,
not know her family. So I grew up not knowing my mother's side of the family, but I knew my father's side. And
mhm,
it was a lot of substance abuse. It was a lot of broken families on that side. Um, so for me to break my generational curse was to not associate myself around individuals that favor them, if that makes any sense. I began to create this biases about Black African Americans,
mhm,
um, that children who was in foster care and stuff like that. So that was like the motivation for me to be like, oh no, I'm not going to be like them.
mhm,
I'm not going to have my children taken away. And it was a motivation. However, when I really got to see the backdrop to why people did these things or why circumstances, I began to understand that sometimes people have diseases. I had to understand that my parents had a life before me. I had to understand that they may have not had coping vices or mentors or, may not even had God in their life to direct them. So just realizing that my seed and what I produce now will not be a shadow of what I had to experience.
Mm,
Like me and my sister now, we take the time to involve ourselves in family development. If that means taking my nephew out or doing his hair or just cooking, we find something to motivate ourselves to get engaged. It's really difficult because we all grew up in a system away from each other. So, you
mm,
know, we have different families, we have different aunts, different uncles, so to get to know each other in our 20s is like very difficult, but we see the need to stay together. Um, to understand and then they say, well, did you do different from our family members? We decided that we made a pact. No matter what goes on, we're going to stay together. We're, you know, we are the product of Mary and Kenny. However, you know, we're going to change this a little bit. My sister is now a social worker within the Baltimore City schools. My brother does
nice.
construction. I am getting my master's in social work. And we have other brothers and sisters out there. They're taking care of their families. And so we just changed everything. I would say that majority of us did not end up nothing like them. And I am so proud. And also the praying. My grandmother taught me to pray over the family. And usually I would be like real hesitant because I can't see it. I can't
Mm,
see what God is doing for them. So it's like, is it really working? But learning how to pray and just knowing that my time is not God's time.
mm,
I begin to see the shift that He made in my family. I begin to see the seeds that He planted. If that was me taking my Bible over, eventually my mother went to church. So it's just like the little things. So yes, the praying over my family assisted with breaking those generational curses, and knowing that I'm not another statistic. Staying focused, that is hard. Okay, it is not easy. You will slip, you will fall, you will bust your
mhm,
knees, but it was that reflection, and just realizing that my failures lead to my success, and
mm.
that is, and I can say that I broke my generational curse. I am a first year graduate of college in my family, so I'm
That's
excited.
great.
Um, I have gotten to share that news with my family and watch their excitement as well. And I am going to be the first graduate with my master's degree. So, yeah, we broke those generational curses. Now
Yes,
it's
yes.
maintaining. How do we
Mm,
maintain? How do we
mm.
get better? So,
Amen. Amen. All right, Miss Shannon.
yeah.
Oh. um, so the first thing I did was understand safe sex because one
Mm,
of my biggest generational curses was to not be a teen mom, to
mm-hmm,
understand what substance abuse really looks like. Even because my dad was an addict for
mm-hmm,
years, like well into my 30s. So he missed everything.
mm-hmm,
So me having a daughter, I impressed upon her the importance of safe sex.
mm-hmm.
What we not doing. You know what I did? I armed my daughter with the truth.
Yeah.
The 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 bitter truth, not the sugar coated truth, not the what I want truth to look like, not the false reality. I told her the truth.
Yes.
Because guess what? When you're on with the truth and still decide to make a piss poor educated decision, baby girl, this will be on you. Not
Amen.
because mommy did not properly arm you. So I armed my daughter with the truth. I said, we give birth to degrees over here, high school diplomas, not children. And it's not that I don't want you to have children, it's just that there is a time and a place.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're never prepared, even when you become a parent, let's do some things and put some things in our tool belt to make us a more effective parent. And then I would show her how, even though I was not a teen parent, how I still felt
Mm,
some, like how certain things still went to the left and right because of my decision making
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
how those decisions impact me. And I'm like, I need for you to make informed decisions. So if you're gonna be a dummy walking through the door making the stupid decision, at least you knew going in, you know the cause and you know effect.
Right.
And this is gonna be the cause. This was the cause. This is the fact. I only can lay in my bed, you only can lay in yours. So I think that was the first thing I feel as though breaking generational curses, talking to her about everything from AIDS, HIV,
Mm,
to addictions, following your friends, going down the wrong path. Like, if it walk like a duck and talk like a duck, yeah, you don't have to wait for it to quack, sis. Let's
Yep.
let's get it together. Let's get it together. If all your friends jumping off the bridge, you gotta do it too. Yeah, like listen, I ain't seen nobody that they don't come back. They don't come back. So it was those things like making my daughter understand things early that I learned far too late. Like,
Mm,
it's not like my mother would run around and be like, "You bet," but it was like, "You better not run around here having sex." It ain't that she ain't told me about sex. My mother,
mhm,
she did, but she like
mhm,
it was more of that. You better not. And you did it, and it wasn't no look. Here's the tools and here's the rules.
mhm.
You can do whatever it is that you want to do. I'm gonna arm you with the tools because this is what happens. And your grandmother got pregnant with your uncle at 14. Like I was on it at 14. She had him at
Mm,
15. Then she got pregnant with me at 16. Had me. I said, listen. I said, You
yeah,
see your uncles. You see me. Let's get it together. You see your other aunts. You see your other uncles. Like I go down to tell her the truth.
yeah.
Because we hide so many
Mm,
family secrets, and those family secrets are detrimental. They're harmful. They're
mhm.
harmful. But then I had to tell my daughter, I said, and people will get on their high horse, forgetting their past.
That
Because
part.
yes, you have been redeemed and renewed in the Lord and all of that. But God did not tell you come down here and cast judgment.
That part.
So I had to make sure that my daughter understood I'm not perfect. And mommy messed up. Mommy has messed up bad. But no, I didn't want my daughter to be a teen runaway. I used to run away from home just because I was like, why my brothers get to do everything? They don't even get in trouble. I get the best grades. How does this lady just hate me? I used to be like, I don't want to be here either. They don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. They don't want to be here and they get to do everything they want. I don't want to be here because I got to deal with all of it. Like, you had to think about that stuff. And I was like,
Mhm.
this ain't for me. I'm leaving. And in ninth grade, where was I going at? Go
Right.
live with a boyfriend. A boyfriend going to live with somebody's son in ninth
Mhm.
grade. I didn't want that for my daughter. And I didn't want what other people used to say, you're going to be just like your mother. And man, when I tell you, I used to look, oh my goodness, Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for my grandmother, because my
Hmm.
grandmother was like that mouth of yours. Baby, watch them. I watch them. I said, but they need to watch what they say to me too.
Mhm.
So, I think that's the thing I did the most that made me just say, I just own my baby with the truth.
Mhm.
And then I started realizing my truth and realizing how I made how my decisions affected me. And we know what we call that word, everybody famous word today. It's called accountability.
Mm.
And I'm fully accountable for my decisions. So yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So definitely some nuggets there. So a few things, right? You had to change your mind, right? You had to change your mind. Two, you had
Absolutely.
to change your surrounding,
Yeah.
right? So you can't do, like they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Can't do that, right? Third, don't believe the hype.
Oh,
People gonna say what they gonna say. They gonna tell you, like you said, you gonna be just like such and such. You gonna be just like such and such. And that is like my biggest pet peeve when there are family members that have similarities. Oh, she's like such and such. Oh no, I am me, right? They are them, and they will continue to be them. Now there may be some similarities along interests, but at the end of the
mhm.
day, we are all individuals, right?
Abs-
And so the biggest thing that I think is understanding your why. There's no
Yep.
coincidence that we all ended up in this social work realm, right? Social work is
Mhm.
not for those who want to get money because you're not going to do it.
Mhm.
I'm just going to be
Abs-
truthful, right?
Absolutely.
This is a heart job, right? You have to have the heart for it. Yes, you can make money. If you play it right, you may make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's about making that impact and that passion. And I think a lot of the times our past leads us to our current careers. But the truth will set you free, right?
Absolutely.
And so when my kids was coming up, ain't no pocketbook, kitty cat, rat, toot toots. No, it
No.
is your vagina, okay? It is your anus, it is your breast, right? We have to give the
The
truth.
word. Yes.
Technology is a lot faster than it was when a lot of us were coming up. And so if you don't give your child the truth, they're going to find their rendition of the truth through the
Mhm.
internet, right? And so
Mhm.
you have to be able to put in there real life, right? This ain't the gram. We're not doing anything for the gram. This is reality. Okay. All right. So which leads us to question 4. What guided you to where you are today? Are you still discovering things about yourself that you inherited from family and are working to change?
What guided you where you are today? The influence that I had personally, and the motivation to just be a support for individuals who have experienced similar things that I have. Are you still discovering things about yourself? Yes, I am still discovering things about myself. Like I said, previously, I can understand different developmental gaps that I have. And doing like learning new things and ways to change them, or just maybe basically just to identify them.
Mm,
Um, what guided me? I am a very spiritual person. Um, yes, I have had my time in the world where I was just very mischievous and not disciplined. I did not care. However, I believe that God allowed me to be out there so that I could decide whether or not I wanted to walk this lifestyle with Him.
mm,
My desire to be Christ-like is what influenced me to where I am now. My grandmother was always that influence. She was my best friend.
mhm,
So the desire to be more like her, our birthdays were a couple days away. Hers was May 12th, mine was May 17th. So, that was my Taurus girl. So to be able to have that person that I could relate to, she has always motivated me to be who I am going to be. She always said that I had a heart like gold as a child, and I didn't see that at
mm,
all. I'm still working to see all of that because I got my little struggles. Um, but yes, the desire to be Christ-like and the desire to be what my staff were to me, that was my biggest motivation. Those group home individuals, they are my family, and I can't go nowhere today without, somebody having my location or where you at, where you been. So that was my motivation, my village, my God family, the village that I created for myself, and just to be better.
okay,
Yeah, I don't want to be another statistic. I did not want to have children. I did not want to be on drugs. I did not want to be a part of the if you have more children, then you get more money from the government type
mm,
situation. That was going around a lot when I was coming up, as far as being they call it welfare queens.
mhm,
So it was like very motivated to be like that. It was, if you have a baby, they just going to give you everything. They're going to give you housing. It was presented like a pretty package.
mm,
Um, but getting the education, learning, seeing those who lived in the projects or not even living in the projects and still had government assistance, and hearing their stories, and how it was a big hoax, and how people are still dealing with depression, and
mm,
how people are still dealing with a lot of mental illnesses. So it was just a lot for me to be like, okay, I don't want this for myself. I want to be able to be emotionally stable. So what do I have to do in order to make sure that I'm not losing my mind?
mm,
What do I have to do to not people please? That was a big thing for me. People pleasing, just because I needed that validation. I
mm,
needed to know that I was doing something. But once I got that validation from Christ, that you don't need nobody to validate you, you need me to validate you. It
mhm.
was like, oh, y'all not about to stop me now, so watch out. So yeah, just being able to be knowledgeable, just being able to learn, knowing who Christ is, um, and just everyone that I have had contact with thus far in life.
All right, Miss Shanna.
Um, Similar. So, my grandmother put me in church. My grandmother making sure that I went to church. I went to revival. I was at Saturday church school. I was at church on Sunday. I was at church on Wednesday. When we was young, we lived across the street from the church. We would be there talking to the pastor on a random Tuesday when we supposed to be walking to the store and we see the pastor. We is across the street at the church. We would knock on the church door just to get some water from the water fountain. Why? The church became like a home, like another place to be. So having that foundation in God and learning about God, learning about Christ. My grandmother said to me when I was young, I just remember walking up this streets called Warwick, and we walk into Mondom in the stop shop and save. And she said to me, she said, God didn't give you the ability to sing. And God didn't give you the ability to like play an instrument. Like, that's not your talent. Your talent is your words. The
Mm,
young lady, you and your mouth, you gotta work on it. I had to be like maybe 10, 11. She said, your mouth. You are very smart. You can read any book. Your comprehension skills is ridiculous. Like, we get it. We get you smart. Your mouth, your mouth, your mouth will speak life. It also speaks death. Oh, think about and that became part of that. Like, why do I talk to myself the way that I do? Like, she's like,
mhm,
your mouth. She said, you the only person I know we can walk somewhere and not know somebody. By the time we leave, you know people. Like, how do you know these people? Like, where did they come from? And I was young. I used to be like, oh, grandma, they my bodies. They my friends. They my friends. Oh, I just met her. She's so nice. This and that. She's like, you talk to everybody.
mm,
And I'm still like that to this day. But my grandmother telling me that she was like, yeah, your words. Yeah,
mm,
your God-given talent is to be able to talk to people no matter where they are. So you'll see a person, it doesn't matter how they look, how they dress. You will treat the person whether they rich well, whether they poor well. And she right. I don't care if you're rich. If you treat me bad, I'm telling you about yourself. I don't care if you're
mhm,
poor, you treat me bad. I'm telling you about yourself. You know what I mean? I don't treat people depending on their class, their title, or anything. And I've been like this a really long time, but I just remember these conversations with my grandmother that kind of said, look, Psalms 121, but my very favorite Bible verse is Psalms 139. But the crazy part is I used to use that. She told me Psalms 139, and then it says, before a word comes off my tongue, Lord, you know it full well. I
mm.
used to use that as the reason why I cuss people out. I did. I used to say, if God ain't want me cuss you out, that's why he knew I was gonna,
I cannot.
he knew it. And my grandma was like, flag on the play. Flag on the play. She was like, I did not teach you the Bible so that you can arm yourself. So when people do like seriously. But I did. I did. I'm being honest. I used to be like, now I just sit up here and be like, God, I need you to watch my mind so I can watch my mouth. And you watch my heart because I don't know what this person is going through. Like I like the pause button for me at this age in my life is really different.
Mm,
Um, really, really, really different. So I'm in the okay, cool. I just know it.
mm,
And just like it just everything don't have to be said. I was like,
mm,
dang, I'm getting so old.
mm,
I'm mature. Like, look at me being mature, being quiet, not even saying nothing. Like, be quiet, girl.
mhm,
So the things that I'm discovering about myself that I heard with my family, um,
Mhm.
just to not be patient. Like people in family don't have patience. They don't understand forgiveness. I am a forgiver. I understand that forgiveness, honestly, it's just not my forgiveness ain't even for you.
mm,
Because you probably don't even care that I forgive you. Because you
mhm,
probably can't even acknowledge and take accountability of what you did, you said, you whatever. But guess what? It's not about you. The forgiveness is for me so that I
mm,
can make peace and go on and go back to my era of being quiet with my mouth
mhm,
and not say anything. Like, I'ma just forget him because they don't understand. You can't mess up. I'm one of God's favorite. I tell people that all the time. So I think that's one of the things that I have worked on really heavy to change. I'm not saying that I'm supposed to reconcile with family members after
mm,
they did crazy things to me. I didn't say that as reconciliation. I didn't say forgive so you can reconcile. Because no, God said they burned that bridge to a crisp. I burned the bridge to a crisp. And you
amen.
better let the bridge stay burnt. And I've learned to let the big bridge stay burnt because I used to be one of them. I'm so forgiving. Let me just swim back over here to this other side because they really no. Get your girl. Get over here. Get over here. All right, God, I'm gonna stay over here. Cause how many times I gotta let you get burnt? Like the bridge is gone, you still gonna get girl, get over here. So I would say that was it. Learning that forgiveness is for me. And learning to make sure I just keep leaning on God and
No,
watching my mouth.
no. I think the takeaways is know when to hold them and know when to fold them, right? So we have to be very clear with boundaries, right? These are still family members. We still have the connection, right? We have soul ties. But at the end of the day, don't cross my fence, right? Don't come near my bridge. And like you said, we can't please everybody, right? I was just talking to my run mates this morning about pleasing people, right? I said there's two things. You can't please everybody. The second is I don't care to please everybody, right? So that is something that I use to validate my damn self, right? I don't really care too much about how you feel about me. Yes, I would love for you to love me. I would love for you to be a part of my village, be a part of my circle. But I'm very selective for a reason because I am an acquired taste, right? And so I'm like that onion, you have to get past those layers before you see my core. So I appreciate you guys bringing that into this, which leads us to question 5. What advice would you give folks that are currently struggling to find their way?
Seek God. If you have a higher power, dwell in there. Prayer it works. Therapy is okay to use. Um, Within the African American culture, therapy was always seen negative when I was coming
Mhm,
up, but
mhm,
it's just a place where you can just get everything out of your mind. Just it's an outlet. Self-care is important. Create goals for yourself, even if they are mini goals. And my thing was realize that failure creates a framework for success.
mm,
Um, yeah, you're not going to continue to keep trying the same way, and it just keep failing. So the more you try it and you keep failing, you're eventually going to figure out how to succeed. Um, that's they're my four. Yeah, they're
Okay.
my four.
Okay. Miss Shannon?
Trying to remember what my first name was. Okay.
Can you do the
So,
no?
huh?
Can you do the no?
I got you. That's my first one. So, can be a mess. so, so Kendra, you a mess. So, I have a few. So the ones that I like the most are, um, mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business. When somebody say
Mhm,
that people think it's so that mind your business. No, mind your business. If you mind your business, you do not have time to focus on anybody else's business.
mhm,
And as I've said before, my business is never hiring because I have employed myself in every position. There is no hiring over here in my business. I don't have we looking for people to come over here to be in my business sign up because I'm minding my business. And the only time that I care about minding your business is because your business then got in my business or got in the lane of my business. And guess what I do over here in my business? I get things that's not part of my business out of my business. So that's one. So don't hire people to be in your business.
hmm,
It ain't none of their business. Oh, and then my favorite is what people think about you
hmm,
ain't none of your damn business. It ain't your business. They could create a whole life over there in their business, worried about your business. And guess what? You still should not care. You should not care. Because again, it's none of your business. And as you already said, Chris, I don't need that validation. I don't, I want you, to like me and I want you to be. But guess what? If you don't, I'm good with that. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. And as Kendra wanted me to make sure I say, because it's very important to me. No, no is my favorite sentence.
Hmm.
It's so short. It is 2 letters with one. It can be a period at the end, multiple explanation points, but no is a complete sentence. Learn
Mm,
to utilize no. No, I can't. No, I won't. No, I will not. No, no. And guess what? You ain't even got to give an explanation. After you say no, that's it.
mm,
So you're not going, mm-mm. And what we're not going to do is have people around us that are going to keep trying to break our boundary, because that's your boundary. Once you
mm,
say no, that's your boundary. So having people that keep pushing against that, oh, so you don't even respect my boundaries. Oh, okay. So now I know where to place you, because my no was a complete sentence.
mm.
That's it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And I think as we progress and mature in who we are, being comfortable with that
Hmm.
no,
Yep.
right, is the biggest task. Um, I'm still learning that process of me. Okay. All right.
It's okay.
Um, so I think the whole point is, through it all, whatever you're enduring, whatever you're going through, you gotta want it. You gotta want it. And the more you
Mhm.
want it, the more it'll come, right? And so I leave with this quote: watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become. So if you want better, you do better, and you keep making it work for you. Move on, mind your business, say no, set boundaries, learn, grow, all that good jazz. And until next time, guys, have a good one.